Good morning and welcome. We're so happy you're joining us for service this morning. If you are visiting, please fill out a visitor form on our website at www.unitytemple.org. Have you been considering becoming a member of our congregation? We hope so. And this morning we're offering a Pathway to Membership session from 11 until 12:30. We're also offering another session tomorrow evening from 7 until 8 p.m. To receive a link to participate, please email me at tlewis@unitytemple.org. I look forward to hearing from you, and I hope you enjoy the service.
Good morning. My name is Stephen Lee, and I serve on your Board of Trustees. It is my pleasure to welcome you here this morning. If this is your first time joining us, thank you for coming. We look forward to getting to know you better. Each week, we reflect on the core values of our congregation: connection, transformation, justice, and acceptance. Our mission is to embody these core values in the course of our daily lives by welcoming all, inspiring compassion, nurturing wonder, and serving community. Thank you for being here with us today. I hope you enjoy today's service.
We invite you to light your chalice along with us. We are Unitarian Universalists. This is the church of the open minds, loving hearts, and helping hands. We take care of the planet Earth and each other.
I invite you to breathe deeply and center down. Bring all of who you are to this time and to this community, for we gather to cultivate courage and compassion within and among us. We gather to reflect on what kind of world do we long for, and how can we bring that world forth. This morning we have Reverend Mary Catherine Mourn, Reverend Laura Randall, and Heather Vickery of the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee to share with us how we as a congregation can join them and this national global organization. Whoever you are, wherever you are on your life journey, you are welcome here. May we open our hearts, our minds, our souls as we gather for worship on this glorious day.
Good morning. I'm Jim Parks.
And I'm Mary Parks. Please join us in reciting the covenant.
Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other and with God.
Join me in singing hymn number 1010 in the Teal hymnal, We Give Thanks. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for our gathered here and those far away, for the time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. We're all gathered here and those far away, for this food we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day.
Hi, friends. It's great to all be together even while we're staying in our homes. Today, I want to tell you a story about how the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee, or UUSC, began. It all started 80 years ago when Unitarians in the United States were watching what was happening in Europe, and they were getting very worried. They were worried because a man named Hitler and the people he was leading, people called the Nazis, were becoming very powerful and hurting a lot of people. The Nazis believed some very mean and wrong things. They believed that the only people who were any good were people who were just like them. They wanted everyone to be the same as they were, and if you weren't, well, they would kick you out of your house, they would take all of your things, they wouldn't let you work. And eventually, the Nazis started killing a lot of people who they thought were different from them. Jewish people, gay people, people with disabilities, all of them were targets of the Nazis during this time. It was very scary. What do you think you would do if you saw something like this happening? Would you want to help? Would people in your UU community want to help too? It was the same 80 years ago. The Unitarians wanted to help people in Europe who were being targeted by the Nazis. So, a Unitarian minister and his wife from Wellesley, Massachusetts, Waitstill and Martha Sharp, went to Europe to see how they could help the people there. They found lots of ways to help when they got there, but they had to be creative because the Nazis were always watching, and it would be very dangerous if they got caught. The Sharps helped get paperwork to people that they needed to escape to safer places. Sometimes they would even sneak people past the Nazi guards wearing disguises. They also helped people, including kids like you, get food and clothing at a time when it was very hard to find both. The Sharps were very brave, but they didn't do this work alone. They worked with people in the Jewish communities in Europe, and they worked with other Unitarians in the United States who would send them money and other supplies so more people in Europe could be helped. That is how the Unitarian Service Committee, now called UUSC, got started. Today, UUSC is still working around the world to help people who are being treated badly find safety and have their human rights respected. We work with migrant communities who fled their homes in Central America and are seeking asylum in the United States. We work with Rohingya Muslims from Burma who are facing inhumane treatment and displacement by their government. We work with people around the world whose home communities are threatened by climate change, and many, many more. Both 80 years ago and today, UUs come together through the UU Service Committee to work with people who need it most. And we will continue to be there to help into the future, because Unitarian Universalists believe in doing what we can to make the world a better and safer place for everyone. Thank you for all the ways you help us do this work. We couldn't do it without everyone joining together. So grateful that you're here. Thanks for listening to this story. Bye.
My name is Jay Cohen. I'm one of your pastoral associates. This is the time in our service where we especially hold one another in our hearts and offer prayers for the people. If there's a joy or a milestone you're celebrating, we'd love to be part of that with you. If you're going through some type of struggle or sorrow, we are always here for you with that as well. If you would like for it to be mentioned in the service, just contact one of the ministers or pastoral associates during the week. Otherwise, feel free to just go ahead and put it into the live chat. We are thrilled and grateful to report that Edward Voss, age 4, had successful heart surgery about a month ago, and he is happy, healthy, and healing. He, along with his older brother Simon and his parents Fran Knuckle and Charlie Voss, appreciate all the good wishes. Please hold Linda Wyko, Ken Hooker, and their family in your hearts over the next few months as Linda undergoes treatment for ovarian cancer. They will especially appreciate your healing thoughts and prayers for a successful surgery this coming Tuesday. MJ Brenny, a member of Unity Temple for 10 years, died at age 72 this week. She suffered a devastating stroke and could not recover. We will miss the many ways she shared her thoughtfulness, humor, caring, and love with the people of our community. Please hold the people of Texas in your hearts as many are still going without clean water, as well as our Texas congregations as they try to find ways to address the immediate needs of their community and those who are most vulnerable. Locally, the following people were reported killed between the days of February 12th and February 18th. Pierre Romel Anderson, 37, Alva Best, 68, Dontrell Johnson, 25, Guillermo Antonio Quiaz, 53, Dontrell Marquise Robinson, 22, Antonio Schaffer, 32, Tycian Thomas, 20, Cavante Toomer, 27, Rashad Wells, 43. May we keep their families and others touched by violence in our hearts. May we also pray for the perpetrators and the impact the violence has on their lives. So there are a lot of people feeling cooped up right now between the pandemic and these long winter weeks. So if you could think of somebody who'd appreciate a phone call, feel free just to reach out and say hello. That really always helps all of us. And if you'd like to talk to one of the pastoral associates, feel free to either contact one of us individually, or you can email us at pastoralassociates@unitytemple.org. We are always here for you.
Spirit of life and love, we give thanks for the gift of this day. We give thanks for the gift of this day, even though it is one in a sea of sameness. Another day of winter, another day in the pandemic, another day with many routines that we have gone through over and over again. And sometimes we don't particularly feel like giving thanks. Still, we give thanks for the gift of this day. There is always something to be grateful for. Maybe a neighbor shoveled our walk. Maybe we laughed at the dog in the snow over his head. Maybe we snuggled cozily inside our home with a cup of hot chocolate. We give thanks for the gift of all of our feelings. We give thanks for the gift of all of our feelings, even ones that weigh heavily on our hearts. Fear, anxiety, worry, frustration, anger, grief, sadness, loss, and so much more. These feelings are part of our response to what life offers us. They help us learn about who we are. They need us to sit with them and acknowledge them and just be. We give thanks for the gift of all our feelings, ones that lift us up as well. Faith, hope, contentment, enthusiasm. Our hearts are big enough to hold all these things at one time and remember that we contain multitudes and that life is complicated and hard and beautiful. We give thanks for the gift of persistence, of resistance, of perseverance. We give thanks for the gift of persistence and resistance and perseverance because these are the gifts we need most in these days, the ones that help us to keep on going step by step, motivating us to do the right thing, reminding us that we have survived and thrived thus far, and so we know we can do it again. For so much, we give thanks. May we know that we are held in gratitude, grace, and most of all, in love. Amen. Blessed be.
Saludos cordiales a todas y a todos. Hoy comparto mi experiencia desde Asociación POPNO. POPNO trabaja con personas retornadas de México y Estados Unidos. En el eje de migración, mi cargo es técnica de campo en el área Mayamam de Huehuetenango y mi trabajo consiste en acompañar al proceso de retorno y reintegración de niños, niñas y adolescentes migrantes. Cuando nos vemos obligados a salir de nuestras comunidades, dejamos lo conocido para enfrentarnos a un mundo desconocido. De cierta forma, se rompe la familia, corremos muchos riesgos e incluso muchos pierden la vida en el camino. La mayoría de la gente se encuentra en condiciones que no son buenas. La pobreza no les permite vivir en plenitud, tanto en mi comunidad como en todo el territorio de Huehuetenango. Por estas razones, por ser una zona fronteriza, la población cruza fronteras en busca de una nueva oportunidad para las familias. Por eso decimos siempre que migrar es un acto de amor. Sin embargo, las personas migrantes son tratadas como delincuentes. Al ser capturadas, se esconden y por lo tanto, pues son retornadas hacia sus comunidades, dejando a los niños en albergues y otros lugares donde se encuentran vulnerables a sus derechos. Sus esperanzas se ven frustradas. Por otra parte, el gobierno no da atención al proceso de reintegración. Es por eso que desde organizaciones de sociedad civil nos hemos tomado el trabajo de acompañar a niños, niñas y adolescentes en la reintegración a sus familias y comunidades.
Emergent strategies are ways of looking at the world, the natural world that we're a part of, and searching for collaborative efforts. Like, where does collaboration happen? Where is right relationship happening between humans and the planet, between different parts of the planet? and what can we as a species learn about how to be in right relationship with each other and with the planet that we're living on. So emergent strategy is really life moves towards life, longing moves towards longing. And if we're not also organized towards what we really want and what we long for, we will always settle into just reacting and trying to stop something bad from happening. One of my favorite examples right now from the sort of the world of nature has been in this flooding that's been happening with the hurricanes, watching how ants have come together to survive, and they basically create a foundation of their own bodies, like a bottom layer of their own bodies, that then other ants climb on top of until they create this floating mound that then is able to make sure that the majority of them survive until they come across something that is a higher ground. Right now, we are drowning in the overwhelm of this political moment and the overwhelm of hard decisions. How do we reach out and hold on to each other, knowing that holding on to each other makes us a more stable body that can actually float and not pushing each other down, not pushing each other under. One of my favorite examples in the human world is actually the work of Black Lives Matter and the movement for Black Lives, and feeling like this was emergent. It's not like someone sat down at a table and was like, I've got it all figured out. I know how we're going to catalyze Black people into their liberation fight and taking direct action right now. That's not what happened. There was just a heartbreak. It really, to me, it grows out of a heartbreak. Like if you look at the original post that Alicia put, it was like, my heart is broken and our lives matter. And that heartbreak was so catalyzed. And other people were like, yeah, how do we organize ourselves around what we long for and we believe in this moment when everything is telling us we don't matter, but we know we do. How do we move that? And that so many people answered that call, and that they have really tried to hold like, oh, what does decentralization look like? How do we keep adapting to changing conditions? Things that organically emerge from a real desire and a real longing, those are the ones that catalyze the most other people. They're super compelling. Like when you see someone feeling a real emotion, that's what you want to move towards and be like, I want to be a part of this. It's not just getting me to sign my name on a petition. It's not just getting me to be a number in the street. You actually want me to care about my own life and my children's life. Yeah, I'm down for that.
Good morning, friends. My name is Heather Vickery, and I am the coordinator for congregational activism at the UU Service Committee and the UU College of Social Justice. That was Adrienne Marie Brown, educator and activist who wrote Emergent Strategy, a book that has helped many people, including my colleagues and I, think differently about how we do our work in order to co-create the world we long for.
I'm Mary Catherine Morin, President and CEO at UUSC. Heather and I are so glad to be with you this morning. Thank you for this invitation and for your interest in our Unitarian Universalist Service Committee. I also want to thank Alan. It's always such a pleasure to work with him, and I am personally grateful for his support as a colleague and as a generous supporter of UUSC. The right relationship Brown is talking about in the video is one way of describing what we strive to do and to be at UUSC. Our commitment to living and working in right relationship with each other and the planet is grounded in our conviction that all people have power and dignity. From the beginnings of the Unitarian Service Committee in response to Hitler's advance in Prague in 1939 to our 80th anniversary last year, UUSC has been working to translate our Unitarian Universalist values and the principles articulated in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights into action for equity, for right relationship, for justice. I am grateful for Brown's reminder that we need to be organized toward what we really want, toward the world we long for. It's hard to hold on to a vision of power and dignity of all people, where all people are free. It's hard when we live in the midst of so much suffering, so much hatred, so many who reject the dignity and worth of so many others. And let's be honest, it's hard in the midst of our own struggle to live up to the values that we cherish. All of this is why that vision of a world transformed, a beloved community, of peace, justice, and equity for all is so important. At UUSC, our reminders about the world we long for most often come from our partners in the US and around the world. Partners whose hearts are broken and whose organizing affirms another way. Today, the work of our partners focuses on climate-forced displacement, crisis response, and migrant justice. While these initiatives may seem unrelated at first glance, they are, of course, intricately interconnected. These issues are about the right to security within our homes, the right to restore our homes when they are ravaged by natural or human-made disaster, the right to seek new homes elsewhere.
UUSC's mission is to advance human rights and social justice around the world through the 3 initiatives that Mary Catherine mentioned. We do this by partnering with those who confront unjust power structures and by mobilizing people to challenge oppressive policies, to change systems, and to respond to the immediate needs of our partners. Just as our initiatives are intersectional, so is how we do the work. One of the ways we work to achieve our mission is through the UU College of Social Justice's immersion and experiential learning opportunities. We at UUCSJ know that anything can be made into an experiential learning opportunity, even a sermon. So I'm going to invite you into a brief visioning exercise now. In the video we saw before, Adrienne Marie Brown says, if we are not also organized towards what we really want, what we long for, we will always settle for just reacting and trying to stop something bad from happening. So let's practice organizing towards what we really want together. I invite you to settle your body into a comfortable position. Maybe that means grounding your feet to the floor like the roots of a great oak tree. Maybe that means relaxing your head and letting your chin dip down a bit so your head is closer to your heart. Maybe that means leaning your head back as if your brain really is in the clouds, as they say. Maybe it's something completely different. If you're comfortable doing so, close your eyes or soften your gaze. Take a deep breath in, and as you release the breath, notice your muscles. Are they clenched from worry? Take another deep breath in. And as you release the breath, try to unclench and relax. Keep breathing. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Now, in this more relaxed state, bring yourself into the future when we've arrived and we're together in the beloved community. Imagine what the world is like with no more borders and no more prisons, no more war and no more hunger. Notice all the senses that are being activated by your imagination. They may be different for each of us, and that's okay. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you smell? What do you taste? What can you feel? Who's there with you? What are we doing together? Now take a deep breath in as you continue to notice what's around you. And slowly breathe out. As we gently come back to the present, take a moment to notice how your time in the beloved community made you feel. Did something stick with you in particular? A sound, an image, something else? Take a moment to commit that touchstone to mind. So when the world as it is starts to weigh you down, you can mentally take it out and go back to that beloved community to center yourself. My colleague and friend Angela Kelly taught me that practice, and it's had a profound impact on not just my mental health and my ability to stay in this work for the long haul, but also on how I do the work right now. I'm sure you all know as well as I do that it's a lot easier being the person you want to be in this world when you're filled up with peace and possibility, rather than frustration and fear. You see, when I imagine the beloved community, my touchstone is a true community meal. Food plays a large part in my life. I love to feed people, I love to try new foods, and I love to connect with people over meals. This is true across my family. In fact, when any one of us returns from vacation, we will take at least the first hour or so just talking about the food we ate on our trip. So it didn't surprise me that the very first time I did this practice, that a meal was what I imagined. And just talking about it now with you brings me back to that place, filled with people talking and laughing together, passing food across the table to each other. I can hear the sound of forks and knives clinking against plates and the dull roar of a great dinner party filled with happy, free people. And as I'm brought back to that place, I know that the food we are sharing tastes like the joy of knowing no one is hungry. That the laughter I hear sounds like true liberation, a type of laughter that can only be heard when no one is behind bars. And that the people I am with feel like home because I know everyone else in the world has shelter. Talking about it now with you fills me with a sense of peace and brings tears to my eyes. I miss that world, even though I have never physically been there.
Oh, Heather, I couldn't agree more about the role of food in making connections real. And as for family vacations, I think we'd do well vacationing together. A table set with food to share is a universal invitation to connection, especially when we share food that is part of our identity, that grounds us in who we are or introduces us to someone else. The shared table in those cases becomes a sacred place. We see each other in new ways across steaming soup or a pot of tea. And I find sharing a meal can be an experience of practicing living in the world we dream about. A year ago, when colleagues and I were traveling in Burma, also known as Myanmar, visiting our Rohingya partners, I had an experience of this. In the midst of the overwhelming stories of persecution, I heard from our partners over and over again, often over a shared meal, about the world they long for, about the different world they imagine, and about the ways they are building it and have invited us to join them. After 2 days in the business capital Yangon, meeting civil society leaders working for the liberation of the Rohingya people, we went to Sitwe in Rakhine State on the western coast of Burma. This view from my hotel gives you a taste of the natural beauty of the place. The natural beauty, though, tells only a part of the story of Sidway and Rakhine State. Rakhine State is home to many of the hundreds of Rohingya villages that were destroyed by the army just 3 years before we were there in what many are calling a genocide. The Rohingya have faced persecution, disenfranchisement, and violence for decades. The military's violence in 2017 was the horrific culmination of the campaign of hate waged against the Rohingya. In addition to almost 1 million Rohingya who are refugees at a massive camp in Bangladesh, some remain in camps for internally displaced people. We saw the perimeter of one such camp in Sidway. We spent most of the day with our partners at the Peace and Development Initiative, including sitting in on a civics education class for young adults, part of the wonderful work they are doing that is in part funded by UUSC. The group was a mixed group, ethnically and religiously, a rare opportunity for young people in Burma to build community and learn together in a diverse cohort. By lunchtime, I was overwhelmed. The young people were filled with energy and openness, but hatred's momentum in Burma is strong. I was glad we were breaking for lunch. Our host drove us to a beachfront spot. He and his colleagues brightened as they shared the traditions of the seafood and the outdoor dining. Our time together was intimate and authentic, joy-filled. It was time of peace and kinship. And over the fish soup, our partners shared the fierce vision they hold of a world with equity and justice for all. One of PDI's leaders shared stories from his activism that had led to 5 years as a political prisoner. They were cautious, even then, especially in Rakhine State, with how public they were about their activities. It's dangerous. But still, despite the risks, he and his colleagues have not only imagined the world they long for, they are building communities that are shaping that world. So much has changed in a year. So much has changed in 3 weeks. I have thought of our partners so often since the military staged coup on February 1st, the coup that overturned the democratic elections and put a military junta in place. Thanks to UUSC's relationships with our partners in Burma and then the Rohingya diaspora, we were able to send immediate aid. At this point, aid that is primarily for the purpose of helping people at risk protect themselves from arrest and imprisonment. We don't know what's next. We will continue to support our partners and to advocate not only for a strong response to the military coup, but also continued work to repatriate Rohingya refugees to a Burma that is safe for them. This is long work. The memory of lunch at the beach and stories, perseverance, and courage shared is a touchstone for me and a reminder about the world we long for. I've been inspired as well learning about Unity Temple's commitment to immigration justice, and especially your support for Rohingya refugees there in Chicago. Next time we have the chance, I hope we can share stories and food and our dreams for the world we long for. The snapshot I've shared from Burma is just a slice of what is happening at UUSC. I hope it gives you a taste of the work and of how we do the work, following the vision and leadership of our partners around the world. Our partners are moving from heartbreak into a future and a world they long for and dream of. It was such a privilege and a joy, even in the face of all that we learned, to share a few hours and some fish soup on the beach by the Bay of Bengal, and to speak from our hearts about what we hope for in our own lives and in the lives of our children, and to know, even if just for a moment, we were practicing living in the world we long for.
When I'm struggling with all the injustices in the world and feeling overwhelmed and like I have to respond to all of them, or feeling like nothing I do can ever make a difference, I go back to that vision of the beloved community. I let it wash over me, and I ask myself some questions to help me practice living in that world now. What will get me closer to that place? How am I different when I'm there? And how can I practice living that way right now? What is my work to do? The work that combines my passions and my skills, that gets us all closer to the beloved community. Who is also doing this work that I can partner with? So now I ask you, how will you get to your vision of the beloved community? We hope today that we've inspired your imagination, that you've learned something, and that you'll join us. We are very excited to see how we can practice together living in the world we long for right now.
Good morning. My name is Vera Dowell. My husband Dwayne and I have been Unitarian Universalists for a long time and supporters of the UUSC. Our offering here at Unity Temple each week goes to an organization which aligns with our values. The Unitarian Universalist Service Committee does just that. It advances human rights through grassroots collaboration. Dwayne and I saw that when we traveled to Burma in 2017 with the UUSC. We talked with folks, local people, with whom the UUSC had been working. Unlike some organizations that fly into a country and set up a project, the UUSC goes in, looks at the projects and organizations that are already there, and decides with whom they want to partner. We met some, including from the Rohingya minority, although we were not allowed to travel to where they were being kept. If you would like to contribute to this wonderful organization, you may donate by sending a check to Unity Temple and put UUSC on the memo line, or you may donate online at donate.uusc.org/Unity Temple. Thank you.
Join me in singing hymn number 304 in the Gray Hymnal, A Fierce Unrest.
A fierce unrest seized at the core of all existing things. It was the eager wish to soar that gave the gods their wings. There throbs through all the worlds that are this heartbeat hot and strong, and shaken systems star by star awake and glow in song. But for the urge of this unrest, these joyous fears are mute. But for the rebel in our breast, had we remained as brutes, when baffled lips demanded speech, speech trembled into birth. One day the lyric word shall reach from earth to laughing earth, from deed to dream, from dream to deed, from daring hope to hope. The restless cross up the slope. Sing we no governed firmament, cold ordered regular. We sing the stinging discontent that leaps from star to star.
Our benediction is from the Reverend Kathleen McTeague. Common good. We breathe the common wind of the earth, no matter where we live, who we love, what language we speak. We drink the common water of the earth, no matter what our race, how long we live, the coverings we drape on our forms. We walk the common paths of the earth, no matter our beliefs, how far we move from home, the gold we carry or its lack. May we live from these truths, our hearts open to the holiness all around us, our hands turned always toward the common good. Go in peace.